Hello everyone, this is Joel over at Just Document Preparation, and today I wanted to spend a few minutes talking about child support and when it terminates. So it seems like this time of year, as the kids are getting out of school for the summer, and more importantly, those older kids, 17, 18-year-old, 19-year-olds are graduating high school, is when we get a lot of calls on child support and the termination. So in many family law cases, divorce, legal separation, custody and visitation cases, as well as paternity cases through the California Superior Family Law Court, there are going to be orders for child support. What's very common is the dollar amount of the child support, who is paying, who is receiving, the payment dates, as well as the start date, typically going to be when the order is made effective by the court. What's not common is an end date. So even though the court order may have general language on when child support is supposed to stop, when the child turns 18 or when the child is not in high school anymore, if the child is emancipated or deceased, married, things of these nature are all in there. The problem occurs is when there is a wage garnishment or a wage assignment for child support. So when those orders are made to garnish or deduct wages from the person who is responsible for paying, those orders go to the employer, and they are simply an order telling them to complete the deduction. There are no specific termination dates. It does not include the termination date from the child support order, nor does it have instructions on when to stop doing so. So, minor child turns 18 or they're not in high school, they meet the requirements of where child support is no longer ordered by the court, but the problem is the order to deduct is still in the payroll system or with the appropriate government agency. So just because the order instructed or said that it no longer is an order for child support, it is not an order to stop the deduction. So a lot of times people are calling us and they don't realize that, and sometimes it may take one or two paychecks for them to realize that they are still being garnished or the child support is still being deducted. With their employer and with other government agencies, typically they're going to need now a specific order instructing them to stop the garnishment or stop the withholding. This is another separate court process that requires documents, that requires it to go through the court system. It requires a judge to sign that order to terminate that withholding. So depending on the county that your case is in, this could take a few days, this could take a few weeks. We've even seen some courts take longer than a month to process this. The whole time, the employer or the person who is doing the deduction still has an order to deduct. They're still withholding those wages and garnishing them out of the pay. So it's important to understand that if there is a garnishment or if there is an income withholding order, to plan ahead and know when it's supposed to stop so that you can start the process with the court to obtain that termination order as close to the termination of the support as possible. This is going to hopefully line up and get a person able to give that order to their withholding employer so that they can stop the actual garnishment or the deduction when it's supposed to stop. And so it's important to understand that the order to terminate is something specifically needed to terminate, and it's important to plan ahead so that you can obtain that when it is supposed to stop child support payments. If you have any questions, you can definitely visit our child support page or give us a shout out through our contact form. Thank you.